We are in the consideration of the all, and all consideration is with us. We are one with the all, and the all is one with us. We are all that we need with the all, and our need is for being with the all. We are successful with the all, and the all is successful with us. We are always with the all, and the all is always with us. The all is, we are. The all can, we can. The all does, we do. Abukador. All right, now listen to this clip in the miseducation of the planet. Basically, Turtle Island was already inhabited with our ancestors, the originals, the most advanced beings on the planet were here.
Harvard archaeologist Barry Fell has spent years studying inscriptions and drawings from Mystery Hill and other unexplained ruins in North America.
Now, what about some of these inscriptions that have been found? What do they indicate in terms of people's presences in this area? Where are they from?
Well, they really tell us that America in ancient times was a melting pot of the races of Europe, just as it is today. Same peoples from all parts of Europe and North Africa, living together, even speaking their own languages side by side, and writing their own inscriptions and their own writing systems.
What people came here?
Basques from Portugal, Celts from Spain and Portugal, Phoenicians from Carthage and probably from Phoenicia itself in Syria, and ancient Egyptian traders too.
Why do you think these people came here?
Wake up, theorist. I don't know if you're ready to see what I have to show you, but unfortunately the two of us have very little time. They're coming for you, and I don't know what they're going to do if they find you. I can help you, but only if you do exactly as I say. Watch this video and perhaps you will have a chance. Good luck.
So this is what's coming out now. It's actually coming out that people are admitting to their experience.
Here's the Egyptian carving or statue, whatever I was looking for, you know, that matches this. So why were people even doing the bindings? Like the gods that were here a long time ago. So fascinating these surprises.
Unbelievable. No tool marks. A single piece of seamless quartz. Cut across the grain. It's not possible even with today's technology it would shatter. Crystal's not magnetic.
Neither's gold.
What is this thing?
Symbol. The Chinook people of North America reserved the practice of head flattening for the social elite. As a result, an elongated skull was an indication of noble birth. The Mangbetu tribe of Africa also used head elongation as an indication of status. Strangely unique. The elongated skulls found in Peru were extremely different from other ancient skulls. Adding more to it, not just size, they also had a cranium capability up to 25% larger and up to 60% heavier than the normal human skull. The never-dying tradition. Skull elongation is still practiced occasionally on an island in the South Pacific known as Vanuatu. This process has been prohibited in many countries, and Vanuatu is one of the few places where it is practiced. The sign of beauty. The elongated hair was a mark of beauty and status in the Congo region, which in turn inspired hairstyles. This was practiced until the mid-90s when it was outlawed by the government.
These skulls here in Paracas, Peru, there's probably the largest number found in this part of Peru than anywhere in the world. Now here's a human skull, and here's the Paracas, Peru skulls. And what I wanted to point out was that when I was doing research on these years ago, I remember this being one of the main differences from the human skull. This huge pocket here on either side. I don't remember that so defined in the human skulls. Now, here you see it. Just don't remember it being so defined. So That to me is different in this reality. So if you're not aware of these, they're fascinating elongated skulls. It goes back to, you'll see depictions from Egypt with the elongated skulls. Nefertiti has the elongated skull. I'm looking for a image here. You got the cone heads here. This here is a baby. Yeah, here, the Egyptians had these elongated skulls. So what you have people telling you, we've been lied to our entire life. There's so much gone on here that we're not aware of. People will tell you, oh, binding is very common across the world. And that is absolutely 100% correct. Binding the skull was practiced around the world.
These are the skulls found in Peru, and I'm going to go into the latest ones that Mariana was talking about. The first DNA tests to be ever performed on the famous Paracas skulls, they're thousands of years old, shown to contain genetic material unknown in any human primate or animal. A new human-like creature unlike anything has ever been discovered before, and the scientific evidence that the Nephilim actually lived amongst us.
How do you explain the fact that Egyptian mummies have been found with traces of cocaine in them? I mean, after all, cocaine is exclusively native of South America.
To understand the true nature of the universe, one must think in energy, frequency, and vibration. Talking about consciousness. Survivors went underground, the history of inner Earth. Advanced survivors went underground, the history of inner Earth. Science begins to study non-physical phenomena. It will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of existence. To understand the true nature of the universe, one must think in energy, frequency, and vibration. This lady here is an expert in autism and Morgellons disease. And she actually said as a child she was experienced being taken to light ships. Her book, The Kingmakers, is a cosmic history that she had downloaded. The role of mantids, reptilians, Lemuria, Sirius, Atlantis, how the advanced survivors went underground, the history of inner Earth, the arrival of the fish gods, think of the Dogon tribe there, following the destruction of planets, the Sirius star system, and how they established themselves. So this is what's coming out now. It's actually coming out that people are admitting to their experiences. So this is what's seen every 6 minutes around the globe. Somebody's taking pictures of UFOs. That's the latest stats. And those are the only ones we know about. But what's fascinating, again, is no matter how many times you take them, there are things that happen when you're watching them that you're not always aware of. And this is what you're going to see here, if I can just get the right part of the clip. It should come up any time now.
Oh, fuck.
You can understand, can't you?
Holy shit.
And that is the reaction.
Did you see that?
Okay? There's a number of people coming out the space closet, as I call it. And in this one, is that we're getting now people, very credible people, coming out and saying they've been up on craft or they've had some form of interaction. And this has really been exponential in the last few years. I call it a kind of activation that's going on. And this is
Japan's Prime Minister-elect Yukio Hatoyama made headlines when his party defeated the once dominant Liberal Democratic Party. But some Japanese say the wife of the new PM is just as extraordinary, or even out of this world.
Japan's next Prime Minister, Yukio Hatoyama, may be nicknamed the alien, but his wife Miyuki claims her own ET experience. Hatoyama embraces his moniker, given for his prominent eyes, while Miyuki, in a book last year, said she was abducted while asleep 20 years ago, riding on a triangular UFO to Venus. Describing the nearby planet as beautiful and green, the 66-year-old former actress gave the extraterrestrial lowdown in the book, Very Strange Things I've Encountered. Yukio, who will likely become premier September 16th, met his wife while studying in the U.S., where Miyuki spent close to 10 years. On Earth. But the future First Lady of Japan, who campaigned for her husband's Democratic Party in Sunday's landslide election victory, says the sun set that day then a win.
We intelligently designed. What we're seeing here with that is witness testimony, whistleblower evidence, archaeological and anthropological evidence of visits by extraterrestrial species throughout millennia. And you were shown today some new evidence that's come up at the Nazca lines. These beings, and the other one I'm going to describe to you that was found as well, were found underground.
The other one I'm going to describe to you that was found as well were found underground.
It wasn't really a railroad under the ground. It was a network of secret routes and safe houses formed in the early 1800s by abolitionists and other escaped slaves, like the great Harriet Tubman.
Place in the North and South Poles. Deep big holes aroused there. Netherland is sure the Earth is absolutely hollow inside and can even have a small sun there. The sun energy penetrates there through the holes in the poles and accumulates in the center. If one supposes that the Earth is hollow inside and has its small sun, there can be life as well. This idea was indirectly confirmed by the report on an American high-rank military commander to the North Pole. The report was made secret, and its details became known to the world press only recently. The man who flew inside the hole. In 1947, Vice Admiral of the U.S. Navy Richard Byrd went for a research flight over the North Pole. Near the pole he noticed an unusual spot colored in mixture of yellow, red and violet. On approaching the spot, the pilot could see something like a mountain chain. Byrd flew over it and saw, this was his first impression, a mirage of forests, rivers, meadows with animals resembling mammoths. He could also see weird flying machines and a city with buildings built from rock crystal. He realized himself to be a second Columbus discovering a new continent. The air thermometer scale began lifting and stopped at plus 23 degrees Celsius. This was impossible for the North Pole. Radio for the connection with the air base did not work. Byrd's wife, who read his register for the flight, told that Vice Admiral contacted the representatives of the underground civilization who overtook us for 1,000 years of development. The inner planet's surface residents resembled people in appearance, but were more beautiful and had the look of spirituality. They had no wars. They found new sources of energy which allowed to use vehicles' engines, receive food and light from nothing. Those people told Byrd they tried to contact the outer surface of the Earth residents, but all their attempts were rejected. Their flying machines were shot. Finally, they decided to assist human beings only when they will be on the brink of self-destruction. Inner Earth residents showed Byrd all their civilization achievements and then escorted the pilot to the pole hole to let him out to our outer world. On return home, he discovered that the plane used the fuel for extra 2,750 kilometers of flight. The authorities recommended Vice Admiral never tell anybody about the world he saw and put him under strict control for the rest of his life.
Evidence. How do you explain the fact that 30% of all Native American DNA is Middle Eastern? That's right. In fact, this was verified about a year and a half ago, and scientists have no explanation for this. In fact, it completely debunks the known and currently accepted human migration patterns that have been discussed in textbooks for decades. But if you want to hear something even more crazy, they're finding that in various areas of South America, the DNA originates from, get this, Aborigines from Australia. And it dates back to 17,000 years ago. So how do you explain that? And I should mention that I'm citing a study done by Harvard. And they have absolutely no explanation for this. In fact, they're dumbfounded. They have no explanation. So the only logical explanation is that Plato was right, and that many other civilizations were right when they carved in stone and stated that there was once an advanced civilization that was capable of traveling between the continents, also known as Atlantis. I mean, when you consider that Aboriginal DNA is found in South America as far back as 17,000 years ago, and then when you consider that there was a global cataclysm that happened 13,000 years ago, it's obvious that there was a global reset button on ancient human civilization, and that we were once far more advanced than our textbooks currently teach in school, and that we were able to travel between the continents. I mean, DNA evidence and evidence found with cocaine in these mummies and all the overwhelming similarities makes it completely conclusive that these two cultures were obviously connected in more ways than we can possibly imagine today.
Well, whenever Atlantis went down, a lot of them Some of them went to Egypt and were survivors and to other places, but some of them went underground. And there's an entire cities all throughout. There's all kinds of tunnels and transportation systems that link them all together. Some of the trains and things down there can go 3,000 miles an hour to link the cities together. There's like a sun inside the earth that lights everything. So they have light, they have lakes, they have water, they have everything they need. And there's animals down there that do not exist on the surface of the earth. They have live computers, if you want to say that. This is in my second volume of The Convoluted Universe. It talks about the underground cities. They have computers that we can't even approach that can create and do anything they want. And the people are so advanced, they have no desire to come to the surface. They have everything they need down there. They've been down there for thousands and thousands of years. And they're much more advanced than we are because there's no wars, there's no violence. But yeah, there's civilizations under the surface of the earth.
Ground facility, better part of 3 cubic miles hollowed out underground. Then to the southwest of that, we were in the process of the early stages of building. We drilled 4 large tunnel-like holes. Some of them ran 2.5 miles under the surface. At that time, number of the original wells or drilling machines that were used were at the rate of 2 miles a day. It was fairly rapid. The equipment kept coming up broken. So we wanted to go down, we wanted to send somebody down there, a human observer, or human observers in this case, to find out what was going on. Well, to our total surprise, first of all, the government knew all about it since 1979. Now, you got a regular suit of clothes, you got a regular clothes on, plus you're in almost like a spacesuit environment, and you're reaching for a gun. It's not the easiest thing to do, and then to pop a clip in it and start shooting. And I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal and they do die. However, in the process, one of them did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish. And burnt my fingers right off of me, and it was some form of electrical force because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me, completely crispy crittered my left foot, burnt the shoe right off of me. All I remember is the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much. And there was a Green Beret that was right behind me that risked his life. In fact, he died. But he risked his life. He shoved me back in the basket and hit the button and took me up. I wouldn't be alive talking to you today if it wasn't for him. I'm forever indebted.
We harness energy and weapons to make magic.
Underground don't want anything to do with us either. We have to get our act together. Anything to do with us, they're observing us to see what we're doing. The only way they would interfere would be if we were to try to blow the planet up. Then they would have to interfere. Because if we were to destroy the world, it would send reverberations out through space into the galaxies and disrupt too much. And they couldn't allow that to happen. It's the law of non-interference, and it's very real. And if they can't interfere unless something like that would happen, because then we would be interfering with other people, other civilizations. So they just watch us and shake their heads. We're a planet of free will. They've given us that to see what we're going to do with it. And they don't like what we're doing with it. The planet is alive. It's a living being. So it has its own karma. It's why it doesn't like what we're doing to it. And it's like a dog with fleas. Eventually, if he doesn't like what you're doing to it, it's going to shake the fleas off. This is what's happening right now. It's living out its karma to get rid of the tormentors. No, the Earth itself has a consciousness. It's very real. This is what cried out, help me. And this is where the volunteers have come in to help change everything that are coming in at this point. Entrances under most of the monuments in the world, especially under pyramids, there are entrances to it that have been discovered, but a lot of times they are guarded because they don't want people to go down there. And it's not advised. You wouldn't be able to go down there unless they would invite you anyway. But there are entrances all over the planet in and out of these underground cities. They're real.